The world had never felt so loud and so silent at the same time. One second I was laughing dizzy with excitement, thinking about the future I had dreamed of for years: marriage, a big house, a perfect life. Then everything fell apart like a glass figurine slipping from clumsy hands. I still remember the sharp gasp, the apology, the embarrassment. But none of that mattered once the wind began to roar and the world tilted sideways. When I opened my eyes again, the sand beneath me was burning hot, the air heavy, and the sound of waves crashing somewhere behind me reminded me of the nightmare I wanted to deny. I wasn't supposed to be here. I wasn't supposed to wake up on a deserted island. I remember calling out, screaming for help, begging the sky, but only one voice answered, deep, steady, confident. When I turned, I saw him. A stranger. Wild dark hair, sun-bronzed skin, and eyes that looked like he'd already survived a lifetime. He stood there like he belonged to the island, while I felt like a misplaced object the sea hadn't wanted. He held out his hand. "You should thank me," he said with unexpected humor, as if saving me was just another task on his list. I didn't know whether to slap him or cling to him, but when fear strikes deep enough, you cling. So I did. Minutes felt like hours. My mind ran in 1,000 directions. Why were we here? How long would we survive? The ocean stretched endlessly, mocking any hope of rescue. I must have repeated the same sentence 100 times. "We'll die here." Every time he replied with the same steady calm. "No, I won't let you." And somehow I believed him. The first night was the longest. He worked tirelessly gathering wood, picking whatever edible plants he recognized. His muscles strained with every movement, determination burning in his eyes. I watched him create a shelter out of branches and leaves, watched him rub wood against wood until sparks flew and a small fire crackled to life. When he looked at me through the glow, his face softened, and for the first time since the nightmare began, I felt a strange sense of safety. By morning, the island looked different. Or maybe I did. He introduced himself, sort of. "You can call me Cruiser," he said with a crooked smile, like a man who had stopped caring about names long ago. I wanted to laugh at the absurdity of it, but instead I nodded. Names didn't matter here. Survival did. He tried teaching me how to fish. I failed miserably. Every time the fish darted away, frustration bubbled up, and the memory of what my life had been meant to look like stung sharply. I was supposed to be married by now, I muttered under my breath. I was supposed to have everything. Cruiser didn't scold me. He didn't pity me either. He simply stepped closer, placed the spear in my hands again, and adjusted my grip. His voice dropped to a whisper near my ear. "The spear should be an extension of your body. Be fast like lightning." Lightning. That's exactly how his touch felt. Quick, warm, awakening something inside me I wasn't ready to understand. And then I caught one. A real fish. A small victory, but something inside me swelled with pride. Cruiser grinned, and for a moment the island didn't seem like a prison. It felt almost alive. The days that followed blurred into something like a dream. He built, fixed, discovered, created. I learned, helped, laughed. I began seeing beauty in places I never thought possible. In the sparkle of waves, the soft breeze at sunset, the quiet warmth of a fire shared with someone who felt strangely familiar despite being a stranger. One night he handed me something he'd crafted from shells, vines, and fragments of stone. A necklace that shimmered in the firelight. "The queen of this island should have her royal jewelry," he said. I didn't know whether to blush or cry. His eyes lingered on mine for a long, unspoken moment. The island around us faded. The fire whispered. My heart beat louder than the waves. Then he leaned closer, and for the first time I didn't pull away. But before the kiss could land, before the warmth could turn into something real, I felt a shadow fall over us. A voice I once loved calling my name. The past had come to take me back. And just like that, the island that felt like freedom turned into a trap. The moment I saw him standing there, my fiancé, the man I had once promised my future to, my entire body froze. His clothes were torn, his face scratched, but his eyes still held that familiar possessive certainty. He rushed toward me like he already knew I was his to reclaim. "Honey," he breathed out, grabbing my hands. "It's time to go home. Go home." The words echoed through my mind like a distant memory, one that no longer fit where I stood or who I was becoming. Behind him, Cruiser stepped forward, his expression unreadable, but his jaw tightened ever so slightly. The fire crackling between us suddenly felt like a boundary I didn't know how to cross. My fiancé, no, Alex, looked at Cruiser with a glare sharp enough to cut through bark. Let her go, he demanded. Gladly. I'll leave him here. His fingers tightened around my wrist as if afraid I'd vanish into the island soil. I didn't realize my eyes had drifted toward Cruiser until Alex snapped. You're coming with me, right? For a moment I felt split in two. One part of me remembered sparkling rings, extravagant wedding plans, endless promises of a perfect life. Another part remembered a hand pulling me from the edge of panic, a fire built from nothing, a necklace crafted with careful patience, a voice calling me queen of the island, like I was worth more than all the diamonds in the world. No, I whispered before I could stop myself. Let me go to him. Alex's face hardened instantly. Annie, forgive me, please. Forget about him. His voice shook with desperation. Our honeymoon. It's still waiting for us. Cruiser exhaled, a slow, steady sound that held both pain and resignation. The breeze tugged gently at my hair, as if urging me to choose. But my fiancé, furious, wounded, snatched the spear from Cruiser's hand and threw it aside, shouting something I couldn't even process. His voice was a storm. Cruiser's silence was an ocean. And I was trapped somewhere in between. Is this some kind of joke? Alex snapped. As fast as lightning? You actually believed whatever this guy told you. He laughed bitterly. He's nobody. Cruiser stepped forward, his voice low, unshaken. Say my name, he said to me softly. Before you go anywhere. Tell me my name. The world stilled. Even the waves seemed to pause. I stared at him, at the man who found me broken and kept me from shattering further. The man who taught me to fish, who looked at me like I mattered, who gave me hope without asking for anything in return. Tell me, he repeated, not as a demand but as a plea. My lips parted, but the truth stuck in my throat. I didn't know his name. Not really. He had never told me. Not his real one. Say it, Alex growled behind me. If he means anything, you should know his name. So go on. Cruiser's eyes lowered, a shadow crossing his expression. I'm Alex, he murmured finally, voice barely above the whisper of sand shifting under our feet. And you. My breath caught in my chest. Alex. The same name. Two men, one name, different worlds. My fiancé barked a laugh, furious, mocking. What, you're Alex too? This is ridiculous. But Cruiser wasn't joking. I felt it in the tremble of his breath, in the way he stared at me with an honesty that made my heart twist painfully. I'm Alex too, I whispered back. The wind rushed between us like a sigh of fate. Alex, my fiancé, jerked my hand, ready to drag me toward the boat he'd managed to scrap together. But something in me rebelled against the force, something strong, wild, born from the island. I yanked my hand free and stepped back until I felt the warmth of Cruiser behind me. The place where I belonged. At least, the place my heart had decided to belong. Let her decide. Alex shouted. Tell her the truth. You're nothing. You can't give her a life. Cruiser didn't argue. Instead, he did something unexpected, something that broke me. He touched the shell necklace around my neck, the one he'd made with hands that had trembled slightly even though he tried to hide it. I can't promise her a mansion, he said quietly, or a perfect life. But I can promise her honesty, safety, the truth, and everything I can build with my bare hands. My fiancé's face twisted in disbelief. You'd throw away everything for this? For him. I looked between them slowly. My old world and my new one. A life of plans and perfection, and a life that was imperfect but real. Yes, I would throw everything away. But before I could speak the words out loud, the island shook with a distant rumble, thunder, or maybe something else. The sky dimmed. The air changed. And in that moment I knew this wasn't the end of our story. This was only the beginning. If this story touched your heart even a little, hit like before you scroll. Comment whose side you're on. Island Alex or Fiancé Alex. Share this video with someone who loves emotional twists. And don't forget to follow for episode 3. The truth you're not ready for.